So I'm building a cabinet in school. That's like one of our projects in the first year. You build a tool cabinet, dovetailed corners. You build a double panel door that goes on it. Just a shaker tool cabinet. Idea is it'll go on the wall, it'll hang, it'll store some of our tools. I was struck by inspiration, wanted to do a pediment on top of it, and really had to like push hard to try and get Steve to allow me to do it. I'm realizing how little I know on how to make a pediment.
Correct.
So that was what I started off with. I drew it up, I did it, and it's massive. Like the height of my tool cabinet is almost dwarfed by this pediment that I'm putting on top of it. So I was like, that doesn't look right. And you've always said in your videos, like, kind of follow the traditions, but then adjust based on like what's going to look right and help like kind of figure out those middle things. Which I think, just talking to someone who is trying to build a pediment with no experience beforehand on how to do it, it's kind of like, okay, I just need like a step by step. I need like
I see.
Okay, do this, do this, do that.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit like, okay, I'm hitting a dead end here because I don't really know what to do.
When I was building the pediment, okay, and I did it on YouTube, and like it's one of the only ones out there on building a pediment.
You're right.
I was intrigued because of the raking moldings, okay, and basically a rake is the angled crown that comes down that then turns back, and when those two moldings come together, the raking return, they're different size. And so I was saying there has to be a simpler way to do the pediment. And so I'm 59 now. I was probably 57 at the time. I'd seen a lot of different examples, and I had a library of books to go look back and look at. So I think, I'm saying all that because late in my career did I start trying to figure that out. And here you are, year one, and you're trying to figure that out. Just to put it in perspective, right? It's hard. It's really hard.
It's really hard.
Yeah. I mean, Richard, master craftsman, right? He was saying, I couldn't have done it without seeing your video, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to do.
And to be fair, like, no offense on your video's cheating. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
Like, you're laughing. I was like, oh crap, is it cheating? No, it is.
No, it is. I'm faking the molding because I don't think people, because it's such a short run of moldings, I don't think people are going to actually cut a knife to do the raking return.
People aren't going to do it.
They're not. I mean, because I don't think we can describe this thing until we can look
draw
at
it.
Yeah, draw it and actually go. Yeah, because this piece is too big. Now let's see what's wrong with this and see what's going on here.
All right, we've moved around like 9 different times because class is now in session. Student of 1 right here.
Okay, so here's the deal. Okay, so here is 2.5 inches architrave, and you got a tenille on the back band, okay? So
wait, what's a tenille on?
Tenille?
What is that?
It's the back band of your thing. So let's just say your thing looked like this.
Oh, I can draw what it looks like.
We're just going to pretend, okay?
Don't you want to do the exact one so you have my exact?
Okay. Yes, Jackson, you can draw too.
That's not what I'm getting at. It's like that.
That's it? That's a drawing? What is that?
I don't know. I've been tracing it up until now.
Okay.
So not that one. But
okay, just please step away from this. This is a professional's area. Sorry, son. Okay, so let's just say this is 2.5 inches, right? This area here.
Sure.
Okay, that's 2.5 inches. That means your frieze should be roughly in the same range. Okay, let's just say it's 2.5 inches. Okay, then this is where the bed mold's going to start. So we're going to have a bed mold, right? And then you've got the soffit, this area that kicks out, that kicks this way. Ours is not mutilated, so we don't have to go that far. We go up. This is our corona, and then our little cove goes in there, and then it goes. Okay.
Okay.
So there's your bed mold. Here's your cornice.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's your bed mold, corona, cimation.
And then frieze is down below.
Frieze is right here.
So if that is 2.5 inches.
This is frieze. This is architrave. and this is Cornice.
So what I'm seeing here is the architrave and the frieze are almost the same size as the cornice itself.
No, the Cornice should be bigger.
I know. I'm saying architrave and frieze together is almost the same size as the cornice from what you've drawn.
Yeah. I was not trying to proportion it out. I'm just
Forgive me for thinking.
I'm drawing this thing up. Now, here's what happens. With a broken pediment, okay, I'm going to take, this is we talk about a split fillet, okay? Your cove is under here. This cove is going to run across, and right here is where this goes up at an angle.
Yeah.
Okay? And so then what I'm doing is once this goes across, then I'm filling in, there's the cove, here's the corona, okay, there's that flat spot, and then there's a bed mold underneath there.
Yeah.
Okay? So those things are going up at the angle, which is what's happening here.
So there's one crown.
If I push this down, it would become just this straight cornice, but I'm actually going to go tilt.
Yeah.
And it's all the same proportions and everything else just get moved up. Yeah, this is the pivot I do in my videos where this crown, this cove comes up and goes right back at a 90 degree. This one can't do that. And that's where you split the top part of that crown so that it can run back. This to me is starting to get a little big. Okay. The fact that if that's 2.5 inches, I'm now, there's some proportions if you wanted to look at this pediment that you could be playing with to know whether you're kicking out too far and knowing whether this gets too hatty. And so the bed mold is an area where I could adjust some height and weight.
You would go down?
Yeah, the corona would be another area where you could adjust some things. And then the size of that cyma.
So what I'm seeing,
they could all be shrunk. And this is another area. This your soffit, right? How far this kicks out, and then of course it would kick forward too.
Yeah.
But those are 1, 2, 3, 4 areas that you can play with.
Fourth is the crown. Cimation.
Yeah. So there.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4 places that you can play with the proportions so that so it doesn't look too top heavy. Name the parts and pieces here, Jackson. Here's your cornice. Where's your
bed mold?
Yeah.
Here to here.
Yeah.
I would have said just that was the bed mold, but I'm learning this is too.
Correct. That's correct.
This is the medallions. So but they don't count.
Correct.
They're like their own thing.
Right.
Corona.
Yeah.
Cimation.
Yeah. Now look at the proportion.
Cimation, crown.
No. Cimation is the crown.
Okay. Yeah.
There's only 3 parts to the cornice. Bed mold, corona, cimation. Notice how small this corona is. Okay. This is an historic example. The cimation proportionally may be closer to the bed mold, but it's really dwarfing the corona. But we've got these modillions in here, so maybe that's affecting some of this as well. You really have to just look at your eye's going to be the gauge to tell you whether it's right. This is a federal parlor. Notice they did a gouged federal period. They did a gouged face of the corona. Right? They have articulated where the modillions blocks are by doing this gouge molding here so that line picks up more. But look at that weird bed mold. I mean, that is a weird freaking bed mold, right?
Yeah.
But bed mold, corona, cimation, these are better proportioned than that one because that other one, the cimation, was huge. But the corona and cimation and bed mold proportions, I think, are better here. This one, again, we've got a very small corona here. Yeah. Okay, we got a denticulated bed mold because the dentals always go in between.
So that is counted as a bed mold, part of the bed mold.
Yes.
In that one.
It always goes in between the 2 pieces of the bed mold. Okay.
Oh, that's just in the bed mold. It doesn't stop at the dentals.
The dental is part of the bed mold. Okay. So bed mold, very small corona, and here we're back to probably a 3-to-1, 2 to 5/8, right? And so you begin to see these proportions in these historic ones. And so I'm feeling like you can really, you could probably take out some of that corona, right? You could play with these things so that it changes, so that it doesn't look too massive on this thing. And I probably did, that thing, it should probably be more like that.
Yeah, 22.5 is kind of around the number.
Right? It should probably be more like this number than I kicked it up too much.
It's just such a small one. You almost want to do it bigger so that it shows more.
Well, you can see on this one, it's not very much.
No, it's not.
Well, and the other thing that's challenging on yours is the scale of everything.
Scale's weird.
I mean,
it's not a full door. If it was over a full door, it would help so much.
If it was over a house, it would help so much. You could actually use real moldings. We're using hints at moldings, and so it's
what I'm doing on that Williams and Hussey machine is I'm taking there will be like a full molding piece that'll look. Do you have that purple? Can you hand me that? It'll look like this. The piece will look like, and don't make fun of me.
Hard not to make fun of you, Jackson. Sorry. That's the knife in the Williams and Hussey.
Yeah.
Is that true?
It'll be some. It doesn't look as janky as that, but imagine those as proper curves and everything like that. So there's a knife that's like that. And what I'm doing is I'm running a piece right here.
No, I get it.
So when it runs through, it's only getting that shape. And so, but it's such a hard exercise because I'm taking a knife and I'm putting it on a grid paper. I'm drawing out what it's going to look like and then drawing the lines the opposite. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, I could go here and that's 3/8 of an inch.
Yeah, you're fighting too hard to get the right shapes on the bed molds and the cimation.
I guess I've been so locked in on that. It's a little freeing to hear you say that because I'm just going to go and on Monday, I'm going to set up the Williams and Hussey, run miles of this stuff, waste a bunch of material, and then I'm going to go and just play with it.
Yeah, that's what you should do.
That'll be cool. I'm probably just going to do whatever works first.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to want to draw it full scale, get close, and then try to find the moldings.
Okay, cool. Also, this was one of my questions. I don't think I'm going to do it anymore, but I was planning on insetting my frieze slightly from the outside of my cabinet. I shouldn't do that. I should have it run the full length of my cabinet.
Well, I always like it to have a little bit of stepping back and forth. I think it's more visually interesting than if everything's flat and square.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching this episode of Show and
How
Tell.
to build your pediment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pediment edition.
Yes, exactly.
We're doing sash repair in 2 weeks.
Nice.
So whenever we talk next, we're going to have to do another show and tell.
Okay.
Of
the
windows.
sash repair issue.
You like windows, right? You're kind of partial?
I'm pro window.
Yeah, okay. Pella, right? That's your preferred. Marvin, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next episode of Passion for Craft Podcast.